Hi, and welcome to Jeff Shrimpton's One Giant Leap podcast. And today I was just having a conversation with my good buddy, Mark Page. And we thought, do you know what? This is quite interesting. Let's hit record. And you never know, we might get a podcast out of it. So before Mark Page, I'm just going to introduce him now. Before he became the second best business coach in Hampshire, he used to work for Stanley, wasn't it? Were you a managing director of Stanley
I
Coach?
was UK sales director as part of the Stanley Blacken empire before I became the alleged second best coach in Hampshire.
For the listeners, Mark's a golf buddy of mine as well, and the banter is always fun. So you might get some of that today. So we were just talking about pressure and how people's performances increase under pressure. And I was using the example of years ago when I used to run bars, and we used to open up. When we'd open up for the first time, we would do a refurbish. You've got all new staff. We'd have 30 odd staff on, and they think, oh my God, it's so busy. We'll never be able to cope with this. And literally 6 weeks later, we're down to 4 because they've just found ways of becoming more efficient and performing at a higher level. And I know that from talking to clients, what they want to do is they want to find a way to be efficient and then allow the pressure to come through. But of course, that doesn't work, does it, Mark?
So the pressure for me, and as we've been talking, I used to have a thing called the hockey stick effect, which was at the end of a month, 90% of the business seemed to happen in the last 24 hours. And as you've just said, why was that? Because of the pressure. The pressure.
It's a bit like me doing my homework on the way to on the bus on the way to school, isn't it?
Absolutely. So pressure done wrong, that's bad English, but poorly applied can be a disincentive. But when applied correctly, what an incentive. It absolutely really pushes us, and nothing wrong with positive pressure to make it happen. But I also say we've got to be mindful occasionally. Too much pressure at the wrong time can tip us.
Yeah, but I think allowing, like I worked with a client who were doing production. They were producing these items, and at Christmas they had massive Christmas trade, and they've productivity massively increased. But in August, we were talking about how you're going to be more efficient at Christmas, because you're going to get all your Christmas sales. And what we did is, instead of we actually timed them and drilled them, practiced them and dry run them, and their deliveries had to go out. There were a next day delivery service, so production had to be really fast. But the delivery van came about 5 o'clock to collect all that day's things. So we set them a target. They had to be finished by like 3 o'clock. And then for a couple of hours, they could do, there was other things they could do. They could take product photos and do a bit of marketing and stuff like that. So it wasn't wasted time, but we forced them to be more efficient than they needed to be. And then once we got it to 3 o'clock, then we started setting them challenges. What time can you get it done by? And then, if they beat a record, then they get a pizza for lunch or whatever. And what happened is we drilled them and drilled them and drilled them, put more pressure on them in a fun, competitive way. And that Christmas, they cut 40% off their production time, and had their best Christmas ever, because because in previous Christmases, they'd had to turn the marketing off.
Yeah. I mean, great example. Even in everyday life, I don't know whether you're like me, Jeff, the day before holiday, pressure is ramped up. Pressure is up there. But boy, am I dynamic. I'm doing the emails I need to do. The dog's going to the vet. I'm getting the insurance done. I'm getting the security light up. I'm telling the neighbours to do something. I phone that person. And we often say, if you can use the day before your holiday as a typical day, you are
my goodness,
brilliant.
you'd get so much done, wouldn't you?
You are brilliant that day.
What percentage of the list gets done?
Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know what? Some of the stuff might not be important, because you remember on the way to the airport and you go, oh, I haven't done that. And then you go, wasn't that important anyway.
Yeah.
The door's open.
Yeah. And we were talking, this is how we got onto the subject. We were talking about a business that you coach, and how The business owner thought he needed a PA. Just talk us through what he really wanted, not a PA, because it's quite a funny story.
It was described to me by his wife that he had said, now bear in mind, this is a one-man business, and his wife, he needs a PA. And I politely, because I'm reasonably straightforward, said, sounds to me as if he wants a shit catcher. And a shit catcher is that person who catches all the shit. And what it's doing actually is it's just masking all the inefficiencies, because it's just a shit catcher.
It's a hook letter offer, isn't it?
It is.
Lets him off the hook for being inefficient.
Correct. And so that's why I challenged it, because it's not an efficient way. Now I'm a great believer of delegation, love delegation. What a brilliant way to find time. What I don't like is abdication. Abdication is lobbing the shit over the fence and hoping it goes away.
Well, you can't delegate chaos. That's the problem that most people find when they are trying to offload some work and things, is that they go, right, I've got all this stuff in my head, I'm going to find someone and chuck it at them. And of course, this person looks at the nonsense they get given and how the hell do I make any sense of that? And then a month later, the person says, this person I've hired to do my stuff is rubbish, fire them. And then they might tell themselves a story that says, no, getting a PA, delegating doesn't work. It's not that delegating doesn't work. You chucked a load of chaos at them and expect them to make sense of it with no expectation set of how it was supposed to be delivered or whatever. So if you are going to delegate things, unfortunately, you do have to take the time to create a system to delegate out. Otherwise, it's never going to work.
Of course, I realise chaos is a far better business term than shit catcher. Thank you for that.
It's fine, because I know which button to press on the podcast thing, so you can put a little E for explicit, so we can use that. Don't worry.
I joke, but no, you're absolutely right. And, you and I, we understand these things. We fall foul of it ourselves. We're the same as everybody out there.
I'm ruthlessly efficient. I don't know what you're on
about. And a liar. And but it's really important that you are consistent with what you think you're going to do. And somebody said to me the other day, I'm struggling to get time and nothing's working. And then when we dug into it, they weren't doing anything about it really. So problems don't go away. Oh, maybe this sends us back to the beginning until pressure's applied.
I've tried everything. No, you haven't. Because if you had tried everything, you wouldn't have this problem.
Invariably, we need to, rather than everything, it start with something.
Exactly.
Let's meet it halfway. Start with something.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely a key part of any business. If you can't manage time, you probably will struggle in most things in life. And the difference between Richard Branson and us and everybody else is what you do with time. And I often say to people, these the Dragon's Den guys, they probably buy 3-4 businesses a series. They absorb them into their business. They don't work any more time. It's that ability to understand it and absorb it is key. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it if it meant that they had to work 36 hours a day.
No, well, it's not possible. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So let's sum up. If you want to be more efficient in a business, you need to apply some pressure. If you want to be more efficient as a person, as an individual, and get more stuff done, you have to apply pressure, either to yourself or have someone apply pressure for you. Because from pressure comes inventiveness. If you're going back to the example I gave of working in a bar years ago, it's only when you get busy that you realize that if the wine's one end of the bar and the wine glasses are at the other end of the bar, that might be a good idea to move them. But if you're not that busy and it's just Saturday, Tuesday afternoon, and you're just mimsing around serving a drink every half an hour, that doesn't affect you. Come Saturday night and 400 people walk in the bar and you've got some pressure, Then you get inventive, really inventive.
Experience tells me some people can apply pressure. Most need to have pressure applied by somebody.
Correct.
And, that's why you just need somebody outside of the box, whether it's your wife, partner, colleague, somebody needs to hold the pressure on.
Well, I tell you what, it's interesting actually, you saying that, but actually you're kind of right. But most people can't consistently apply pressure. They can the day before they go on holiday, but they can't do it any other time.
No.
They can't do it consistently, week in, week out, day in, day out, month in, month out. And that's the difference. Some people can, but they are in the minority.
Yes. But that's a unique person who's got that self-motivation, and that probably drifts us to other areas. Maybe we talk on another podcast, because those people probably got better goals and more clarity, and that's why they're able to apply the pressure to it.
Yeah, that's assuming that you get invited back for another podcast, of course.
I haven't seen the fee on this one yet.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we'll wrap that up. Mark, thank you very much. Anyone's listening wants to work with the second best business coach in Hampshire, give Mark Page a shout. Otherwise, come and see me.
Well, the third best.
Hey, there we go. And on that note, we'll end the podcast. Mark, thanks for being on, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.